a lot of good players on that team. A ton of talent, really. I mean, Sale and Quintana both had 3 or 4 years left of control, so you figure you just add one real good arm to those two, and your rotation's looking good for the next few years. And they still had Eaton, they had Melky. Um, I'm drawing a lot of blanks right now, but their lineup was
They had a
pretty formidable, and but they had a lot of issues behind the scenes because you had Chris Sale shredding all the uniforms, and that blow up between the front office and Adam LaRoche didn't, that was a terrible look. And LaRoche retired all because he couldn't have his son in the clubhouse for another year. And I'm just wondering how toxic that front office might be, really. And
It
yeah,
seemed to be pretty toxic. It seemed to get pretty bad. And honestly, I think the White Sox did a good thing when they blew up that team because the writing was on the walls that they had no prospects coming up at the time, like big names, and these guys wanted out. Sale wanted to go win. Quintana would have stayed, but he would have just been in limbo. He would have been your one shining star on a sinking ship. And you had guys like Eaton and Melky, those guys, but they're getting older. They're gonna want a big payday. Do you want to pay a guy? Are they even gonna stay? So I think that they saw it coming. They made a good move there, but I think the front office made a ton of internal mistakes to put themselves in that position.
yeah. There was also another controversy where apparently Chris Sale and a lot of the White Sox roster apparently, like when you're visiting another team, you tip the the home team's clubhouse attendants because they take care of you the whole time. They go get your groceries. They literally go get your groceries and do all this type of stuff. And apparently Seattle does things differently where how they pay their clubhouse attendants, and Sale and a bunch of other guys didn't think it was fair, and so they stiffed them or whatever, to kind of protest. And it just that became a big story in Chicago. And and with the jerseys getting shredded, I really did have some serious concerns about Sale coming over to us. I thought maybe he could be a cancer in the clubhouse, and thank goodness it's been the furthest thing from that. But I just that front office kind of makes me nervous if I'm a Chicago fan with how they handle their business. But they did win a World Series with Ozzie Guillen, so
They did. They win it.
yeah. So I guess there's that, and it'll definitely be an interesting team to watch. Isn't it funny how like teams go in cycles, like they become irrelevant at the same time, and then and then they go through their rebuilds, and then they're back. Because I feel like Atlanta and Philly are on a collision course again. And
Yep.
the Nationals, who knows what's gonna happen with them? I mean, they're definitely a train wreck in the playoffs. And
And they're only
Harper,
gonna get worse. Yeah, they're only going to get worse.
I feel like they will as well. Yeah, I think they're gonna have a similar drop off as the Orioles kind of experience, maybe, because you got to figure Scherzer's gonna slide back a little bit, and then if they sign Harper, it's probably gonna be a ridiculous contract, and they're gonna be handcuffed by it. So they're just gonna have a ton of money on the books with not a lot of resources to address certain things, and I think Atlanta and Philly are kind of went about their rebuilds in the right way. I mean, Atlanta kind of fleeced Arizona for in the Miller deal, and um, and Philly's done a nice job developing a lot of their kids. So
Yeah, it's a good time to be a fan of baseball in general, just younger players coming up and taking over the league. It's really fun to watch. There's a lot of exciting teams to watch this year and the years coming up. It's awesome.
Yeah, a lot more emphasis on prospects than the previous decade. So,
Times changing.
yeah, exactly. So, Chris, before we wrap, why don't you go through both of the media outlets that you work for?
Uh, I work for the NSN Sports Network. That's the Northeast Sports Network. Follow, all collegiate sports for the NESCAC, Trinity, Amherst, Middlebury, Wesleyan, all those kind of schools. I broadcasted their baseball, their softball, all sports. And then during the summer, as I was today, I called the home run derby. I know it's shocking. I called the home run derby because the first 10 innings nobody scored. So the new rule for the FCBL, that's the Futures Collegiate Baseball League, is that if they're tied after 10 innings, instead of going extras and risking these kids' arms, because mind you, they have to play college baseball still, and a lot of these kids have a chance to get drafted. So instead of risking them getting hurt, let's just do a home run derby. And it was quite interesting. So if you have a chance to be able to, follow, I post all my interviews and play-by-play and all that on Twitter. Instagram is the same thing, _smoke_Saunders. Or if you just go on YouTube at Bristol Blues Baseball and then click on the YouTube link, you can follow the games live depending on what time it is, or just recap the games of which they were played.
I can't remember if I've asked you this. I don't think I have, but are there a couple notable players who have come out of that league in recent years?
In recent years, I can't tell you exactly the dates of when these players played in it, but Paul Quattrell's son, Cal Quattrell, was in it when he was pitching for Team Canada. This was, I know, in 2011, right before he went to Stanford. Craig Biggio's son was on the team. Nick Markinkis' cousin played for the Martha's Vineyard Sharks. Austin Dakar, who was drafted by the Yankees, he played for the Brockton Rocks. I actually saw him. It was funny because the Titans, the team I was broadcasting for, they were playing against Brockton, and that was during the draft. And I got a notification that the Yankees drafted Austin Dakar. And what was funny was 2 minutes after that, I got that notification, someone walked up to him while he was warming up, and then he went to the dugout and then left, and I never saw him again.
Oh,
So, yeah, he was drafted. There's been so many guys, but just those are like the main ones. But it's a great league. If you have a chance, if you live in Connecticut, to see the Bristol Blues, or if you're up in Pittsfield or Martha's Vineyard or wherever, Brockton, there's a lot of talent. So you should come by and watch sometime.
All right, good stuff. I guess we'll just wrap on that. We'll be back on Sunday to talk about how thrilling the Orioles series might be.
It's going to be so fun. I wish Mookie Betts was in it so we could see a home run derby.
Yeah, and I guess they did get a sweep, didn't they?
What?
The Orioles. They might have just swept someone.
Did they?
That's how out of the loop I am with them.
So they're 19-40 now.
I was going to say 19 now. Let's get it.
Yeah.
Woo-hoo!
Their win percentage is almost a really good batting average.
Don't let them get hot.
33%. Yeah. Yeah. Well, all right. Good stuff, guys. Thanks for coming on, and I'm sure we'll do it again with you soon, Chris.
Definitely looking forward to it.
All right.
Thanks, Chris. Talk to you later, buddy.
Have a good one. Bye, guys.
See you guys.
Well, that was ended up being an interesting show. A lot of wide-ranging topics. It was an uneventful week for the Red Sox, at least on the field. We basically, stayed on a winning course, which is what you would hope with a team like Detroit, and I think that should continue against the Chicago White Sox. So we'll see what that series brings. As I said, I didn't really look at the pitching matchups before we started breaking them down, and definitely might not be an automatic 2 out of 3. I'm cautiously optimistic that we will win at least that, but Lopez and Covey seem to be pitching very well. So So we'll just have to see how that plays out and see what our old farm system is up to, because let's face it, they definitely got a number of our prospects, Yohan Moncada most notably, who has been playing with them all season. So hopefully he doesn't do a number on us. Hopefully we don't lose some games to our own expense, let's say. And hopefully Chris Sale pitches a good game, because how awful would that look if he laid an egg against his former club? I think that would be pretty terrible. So we'll wrap, and we'll be back on Sunday night to recap the series and preview the Baltimore Orioles. So everybody have a great end of your week and weekend as well.
I'm a member of a Red Sox nation. It's a kind of a family. Wherever I roam, a Fenway home, that's where I long to be. I'm a member of a Red Sox nation. It's a kind of insanity. Yeah, I live and die with Red Sox pride for eternity. I fake a smile November until opening day. Suffering baseball withdrawal around the clock. When April comes, hey, meet me down on Yankee Way. That's when Red Sox Nation starts to rock. I'm a member of a Red Sox Nation. It's a kind of a family. Wherever I roam, a Fenway home, that's where I long to be. I'm a member of a Red Sox Nation. It's a kind of insanity. Yeah, I live and die with Red Sox pride for eternity.